Hello, dear friends, and God's blessing to your heart. The reflection of this short video is: what is the impact of the global recession saying to our hearts as believers? First, I would like to read to you a beautiful message from the Master, which may be appropriate for your heart today. You stand before me, adult tall, but deep inside the child small feels lonely and unsure. Long buried memories surface to threaten your peace, a high price to pay for being you. Abandoned by those who should protect, teddy clutched in hand, here you stand, knocking at the door of a heart, hoping to become a part of someone's life. Confusion the only blanket of security, no surety of abode or faces kind. Make out you didn't mind. Brave is the cover of assumed independence as you grow, coping with inside hurt with an outside smile, and all the while searching for love, but no one must know. The global recession that affects all of us is empowering us, I believe, to revisit our values, our beliefs, and how we have conducted our lives. In the monastic life, we have a ritual called the examen of conscience, where at the end of each day, we come before our loving God and we reflect on the day. We look at situations where we fell short of what God expected of us. And then we surrender our heart to God, asking for forgiveness and for the gifts of the Holy Spirit to put right the wrongs in our humanity. The global recession will affect the church, and yes, it will affect all walks of life. But the lessons to be learned have to go beyond rhetoric. We have to take a deep breath and evaluate our life, our expenditure. Are we addicted to materialism? Are we trying to keep up with the Joneses, the neighbors next door, who seem to have all the electrical gadgets, the latest double glazing window, and of course the new state-of-the-art car in the driveway? I know from my own experience within my own blood family that keeping up with appearances, there has been a price to pay for them, because I know that many of them live off their plastic, and they've got themselves into a situation now in Ireland where the economy is so fragile, and where each employed person is paying an additional levy in a tax to try and bail the country out of the mess. But do you know, 7 years ago, in prayer, I was guided to share with a group of my close friends an important message. And the message was that America will fall, the banking system in America will fall through greed, through mismanagement of funds, and it will have an impact, a spiraling impact on all the countries of the world, and look what's happened. But at that time, my closest friends told me to be quiet because people would consider me to be mad. But what I shared came true. And I know here in the United Kingdom, the new coalition government is faced with some really stark choices. And everybody is affected by this impact. And the whole of Europe. And we only know too well from the news of what's happening in America with unemployment spiraling and government debt spiraling. And the same in Greece, where they now have difficulty honouring their debt. But why have we got ourselves into such a mess? Why have we as a society allowed governments and banks to take such uncalculated risks? Well, it's happened, and there's no use us crying over spilt milk, but are there lessons to be learned? Of course there are. And the one lesson that even we in a small community like ours has to face is live within one's means. Stick to a budget. And it's the same for families whose parents have lost their job and they're having to depend on state handouts. And that has an indirect impact on the overall economy, because if more people are claiming state benefit and less are working, then the balance becomes an imbalance. So in the spiritual life, if we do not take time to retreat from the world and its values, we become spiritually impoverished. And you know and I know that if we neglect our prayer life, if we neglect meditation, silence, then we know we are going to pay a price. Just like the global economy, we will end up in a place of real imbalance. So the lessons to learn are, yes, of course, ensure that our daily communications with God are kept open and that we foster and nourish prayer. But what is prayer? Prayer is that insatiable longing of the heart to embrace the heart of a loving God. But it's more than that. Prayer is not just for nuns and monks. Prayer is for all God's children. And it's true what Tessa Balecki says in her wonderful CD series, Broken Heart. She said, all our troubles come from not connecting with Christ. And today there's a spiritual impoverishment through stubbornness and willfulness, where the heart knows what to do, but the ego, the head center, procrastinating, prevents the soul embracing the mystical heart of God. And you know, we have a duty of care to our soul. And today in this recession, there are lessons to learn, and there is a way forward, and there is hope. The media want us to live in this grip of fear. But with God's help, and if God is on our side, who can be against us? Interestingly, when I became enclosed, I took the vow of enclosure, but I also took the vow of providence, which meant that in no way, shape or form can the Teo community, which I'm a member of, can apply for any form of statutory funding from grant-making trusts. We make a promise that we will lovingly serve a beneficent God who sees our needs and who will provide accordingly. And I believe that that's how it should be in our troubled world today, that we should come to our loving God in trust, peace,